When we were growing up, no one spoke about a mammogram, breast cancer, anything like that. A family member just up and dies.
A lot of us have been programmed to think that cancer is this old person's disease. My journey with cancer was very, non-traditional because I was diagnosed in my 30s.
I was 40 years old. And so I had not yet had my first mammogram yet.
And then they discovered it. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, you have breast cancer.
I fall down in public. I get up. My life is public. If they see me as an example, maybe it would urge them to go get a mammogram as well, because I don't want us to keep dying from breast cancer. You can't make people do anything that they're not ready to do. And so the only way to loosen them up is to say, it's okay if you haven't done it yet. And it's not too late to get it done.
In 2009, I was having my routine exam with my primary care doctor. She is the one who suggested that I go in for a mammogram. I was not completely familiar. I had not started that part of my life where I was doing that annually.
I was taking a shower myself and felt a lump in the right breast. So I felt it in the right, then I went over to the left and noticed that there was a distinct difference.
In 2016, one of my best friends of 45 years, she passed away. We knew she was going to pass. Unfortunately, she had several complications, not breast cancer. During that time, as we were preparing for her to pass, I noticed a little lump growing here on my left boobie over here.
So that prompted me to say, okay, something is not right. I must get this checked out. And due to the pandemic, of course, I was planning on getting it done, but I kind of pushed it out. So that prompted me to take action right away.
Fast forward, I was actually diagnosed on Christmas Eve. They called me and I was like, okay, well, Merry Christmas.
I remember Karen saying to me, she's like, overnight, you got to go get that checked out. I'm like, no, right now it's all about you. And then once my friend Willie passed, I was like, okay, so wake up, let's go get it checked out. 3 months after he passed, I went and had a mammogram, very important. And they discovered it. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, you have breast cancer.
And that very day, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was truly devastating to hear those words in that very moment, that you have breast cancer.
I go from not having a hospital stay my entire adult life to a cancer diagnosis. So it was a lot to process.
Looking back now, that my whole time has been just an attitude of gratitude, is what I like to call it.
As the mom of 3 young boys, of course, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I have to be here for them. What are the next steps?
Early detection is key, because had my doctor not been so forward thinking and put it, I didn't feel anything. If I'd gone on until I was 40, then I probably wouldn't be here having this interview, because I was already stage 3.
It's startling to know the discrepancies that still exist in the healthcare field when it comes to African American women.
There is such a distinct differentiation in the levels of how this is impacting the African American community. So we need to be really honest, and we need to start to know that we got to do some different things.
Once the awareness has been brought to the table, then hopefully that will foster action. Action to improve the disparities that exist, action to make healthcare accessible to all, no matter what color you are. Because once again, we're all human. We all want to live and to thrive, and everyone should have that opportunity. And so a lot of times we're going through life thinking that we're exempt from certain things showing up at our door. And so it was important for me to share, just to raise the awareness that this can happen to anyone.
I think it's important for me personally to be open, because the fact that I was a little bit ignorant and naive to what the cancer process was, or even, just being really in the position to ask the right questions, is because that was not something that was done, in my family growing up.
If I can get out and tell it to people in a happier environment, they can understand that you can actually overcome this. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. So I really hope that by me opening up and talking about my lopsided boobies, it makes other people feel fine.
Getting your mammograms and making sure that you are taking care of yourself and advocating for your health.
And to wait to do it is sort of, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Because once you're on this journey, and don't get me wrong, I will thrive. I am going to make it to the other side, but it will be a lifelong journey.
Never to say that cancer is the diagnosis that you want, but I can say that cancer didn't take my life, it actually saved my life, because it opened me up to see the fact of how I was moving so wrong. 85 miles an hour, but I was not really stopping to smell the roses. I was not fully engaged in, things with friends and things that mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? Taking time to find out what I like.
And I really believe that it really is your attitude that helps a lot. Like, it can really change the trajectory of your path.
The superwoman is the woman who takes care of herself and who has a super life that she intentionally lives. And that's complete opposite of what it was for me a decade ago.
I won't deny you will have tough days. There have been tough days where I have cried till I had no more tears left. But it's about picking yourself up and moving forward.
Just being a teenager and, a young woman, just not loving myself, hating my health, not caring if I live to die. So it's a blessing and a miracle to have made it to this point, to a place where I actually love myself and want to heal myself from the inside out, want to know what's going on with my body. It's a blessing.